Marie, and welcome to the Sister Table Discussion. And we know it's the only STD that you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Today we have some special guests, as you can see, on the couch with the table. So we are nervous. We don't know what's getting ready to happen.
No, we don't.
Please put like the views and opinions of other people. You know how they have on the bottom. Does not affect the extra Sister Table brand, okay? So I'm just letting you know up front. So introduce yourself. Go ahead, Sugar.
I'm Marissa.
Uh-huh.
I'm Ryan.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I'm Crystal.
Lawrence.
I'm Ricky.
Ricky.
So, Ryan is my husband.
What's
And-
up?
Yeah.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi,
How you
honey.
doing? You good?
Let's see what happens after this. It's all God. So we do something that we call the body exam, and it says we're going to talk about the body, which is us. We are the body of Christ, so we're going to talk about ourselves, and yeah. So let's get it popping. So I think that we should start with relationships and dating, social media. How do you fellas feel about girls that show their bodies on Instagram, thoughts, that kind of thing? So, Ryan, what you think? Let's start with you.
I ain't on nothing. I'm fasting, matter of fact, this week. I've actually been fasting a while.
What?
I don't have no Facebook, no Instagram.
I cannot.
I don't see
You do have
nobody's-
Facebook. You don't have Instagram.
I ain't on it. I don't see nobody's
Okay.
but this one.
Okay. Don't that. Well, let's talk about before you met me. How about thoughts and stuff?
Oh, they had Black Planet.
Okay, come on. How did you feel? Or just your neighborhood.
Gente. They had me gente.
Mahente. What is?
Spanish one.
I'm
yeah.
about to say,
I was like, that's just weird. I was like, what is Mahente? I was like, what? How about we start with you? Wait, let's go to Lawrence. How about you go
He's
ahead?
Spanish
I know,
over
right?
there.
You have.
I'm whatever they wanted me to be at the time.
He said he was whatever they wanted him to be at the time. They be like, me papilla. Yeah, he was using all the.
Puerto Rican, hey, whatever you need.
Wait. I know.
Yeah.
What is happening? That's what you used to
All the
do?
time.
I can believe it.
Whatever they wanted, man.
So you
I'm here to please.
was
That's
like,
it.
I'm papitilo.
Whatever they need. As soon as you say I'm Spanish, I'm Spanish, baby.
Like un poquito. You be like, you know a lot of Spanish, un poquito. All right. Well, let's talk about that then. Back in the day before, this is your lovely wife now.
Yes.
Before then, we know.
I mean, I was a thought, so I mean, I really couldn't. I really didn't really say women were hoes or anything like that without putting myself in that category. In all honesty, because I was doing a lot of things. I was very promiscuous and enjoying my life. So for me, I was pretty neutral. I never really dealt with women on that level. I think that's why I did well with women as well, because I didn't be like, oh, you a hoe and all this. I'm like, oh, I'm a hoe. So it's okay, baby. Good. We can learn together. I'm just saying, if that's what it was, I would say, hey, it's okay. But that's just me. I really didn't judge them, so I'm a little different when it comes to stuff like that. I don't really judge females on that aspect because I know what it is. So for me, I don't have a double standard. So with that, I feel like it's just open for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ricky, how do you feel about girls out there and Instagram models and all that?
I mean, it's kind of weird because like now, like that's what our generation is kind of like really influenced girls to be like more open, more
Right.
strongly, to be comfortable with their bodies, like no matter your shape or whatever. So like, I mean, a lot of people just take that as like, you know, a certain level of confidence,
Right.
to just like, all right, I'm gonna show it off because I'm just happy to be a woman or whatever. So like, I mean, I guess like as I got older, I mean, when I was younger, I mean, because you know you had the older influences, you're like, oh man, they're hoes, whatever. But like, I mean, now it's kind of like, it's kind of normalized in
Right.
a sense. Like, you may be scrolling, you may see, like on your explore pages, and you see a girl in a bikini, like you don't even blink twice no more. Like, you know,
Right.
it's just kind of like, it's like really normalized to a certain extent. So like, I'm not really fazed by it anymore. But would I personally want them? Maybe not. But I mean,
But you use
I'm
men
used to
use
it.
them though. They use them, but they don't really like want them. Is that how it works?
Of course.
Oh, okay. so if they gonna show it, you'll take it.
Look.
But that's not. But that's not what you. If your wife was doing that, that would be. If your woman was doing, that's a problem. So if I was up there,
100.
Okay. Do you see what I'm saying, Russell? Where there's a double standard here. So you wouldn't want your woman to do it, but you could.
Because we have a visual of what we want that settled down woman to look like, and it has to be presentable to mom, family, this, that, and the other. Like you want that type of approval.
Oh.
But anybody else, I ain't bringing you home. So
Oh, you just went me to the room, to the bedroom.
for sure, but you walked. You smooth came in. So whatever I sold you, I mean it worked. And to be honest with you,
Okay.
if you didn't want that, you would have said something. You wouldn't have positioned yourself forward. So let's be honest. Like those who came wanted to come.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. We're gonna come back to
So,
you. Yeah, we're gonna go to Marissa. Now, you're single. You've dated or are dating. So how how do you feel about the double standard?
I don't really think it's a double standard. I feel like I actually just had this conversation with somebody, and they were telling me how like that word trophy, like guys have a mindset of like what they want to bring home, like Ryan just said, and then the guy was telling me that like dudes having their like they have an understanding of what a trophy is. He was like, I acquired a lot of trophies playing football, but they're just sitting like they're meaningless to me like at this point. So he was like, look good, it's shiny, but it's like literally it's like
empty.
dusty. Yeah, that's what he said. He said you know, like we can see it on social media now. It might be easy for you to double tap just out of like sporadic like action, I guess, or what's like nice to the eye. But he was just like, men like literally know, like when they see stuff on social media, they know that it's like, I see you, but like I don't see nothing for real.
Right,
and I was just like, oh wow. So now I don't really feel like it's a double standard. I feel like women know what they're doing when they like put themselves out there like that, and I feel like men know what they're looking for. If they are just looking for a body and that's what they find on social media, and then they get that body and bring it home, then they knew what it was. But they looking for what they really looking for, then they'll find that too.
Yeah. So speaking of, how did you know Crystal? Like Crystal,
Lord.
how did you? Because he was a hoe. Like what was you like? Hey, boo. Like,
I mean, I tell her this all the time, and like this is why I think why we still rock. I was spoiled by women. I'll be honest. Like I never had. There was never a female that I wanted that I didn't get.
Okay.
So my whole thing was when I met Crystal, she was stiff arming me a lot, and I was like, well, dang, okay, you know.
That turned you on?
Very much.
Being
a Leo, you know, that lion, that wolf, you know, we got that instinct. I wanted to prompt, you know. And she was like, no, brother, you know, like,
That was it.
but don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of women, and I'm not putting nothing on those women that have succumbed or have, you know, said, oh, I'm gonna give it to them or do whatever. It's just that that's where it was. So it's like for me, when with her, she wasn't trying to give me nothing or do anything. Or she was like on some wholesome. I was like, well, damn, this is a little different, you know. So I was like, I respect that. But again, I think as a man, you gotta your mindset has to be able to turn, or you know, you have to have enough respect too for yourself and the female to say, if she really trying to rock and trying to be wholesome or whatever, you gotta respect that. You gotta be a dude to be like, okay, if this is what I want and I'm rocking, I gotta be with, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, I was still rough around the edges, so she was patient with me because when I first met her, not to be funny, I still had a lot of women, you know what I mean. But we just met. Me and Crystal just met, so when we it was a couple of situations where it was I put her in bad situations, and I'll admit that. And because I was still young, I thought, you know, I think a lot of times men too, we think stuff is cute, you know. You know, we don't want to be called cute. We be doing cute things, you know. And it's like to the point we be like, oh, we thought that was cool, but then it's like you get older and you be like, man,
call
that's
me
kind
when you finish.
Right, I was like, that's kind of disrespectful,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was basically like the chase with her. It was like she just stiff armed me, and I really liked that about her. I was like, well, dang, she ain't even, you know, no matter what I seen or whatever I was dealing with my mental, she still was like, nah, you're not gonna get it like that. I'm not going for it like that. And I was like, okay. That's like the main thing that most attracted to me to her was that she just was not, she wasn't having it. And I'm not just talking about sex, but just her whole outlook on even just going certain places. She wasn't trying to go to the club. She wasn't trying to drink, you know, smoke. I was trying to get her to do all of that. She was like, nah, not doing all that. I was like, all right, cool. So if I want to be around by her standing her ground, that made me step up as a man.
Woo,
So,
say
I
that
say
again.
that.
Are you standing your ground and made you step up as a man? Ladies, you got power.
And I didn't judge him either.
Yeah.
Even because, I mean, before, I was a little,
Right.
I'm not going to say I was a player, okay? I grew up with a lot of men in my family. It's more boys than girls.
Right.
So when you see a lot of the fellas doing a lot of things to the females, I was like, well, I can be like the fellas, you know? I just be the female.
So you was a
So I was a
player.
pimp. I was playing. But you know, God changed my life, y'all, and I changed it around. God changed my life. When I met him, I was in a you know, I was in church. I was doing my thing, you know, and so, but I didn't judge him regardless of what he was doing. I didn't judge him, and I liked his heart. You know, he had a big heart, and that's what I loved about him. Very giving. He's very compassionate. If you really get to know him, he's a big teddy bear, you know, and I just love his heart and his drive, and he was just strong, and I was like, okay, you know, got a little thug in too.
All right. Put you in your place.
Yeah, put me in my place. You know,
Be like, yes,
okay, you know, but
we have a question.
question.
Come on, sugar. Wait, no, not you. Marissa.
Did you know that you were having that effect on him, or was it just like your nature to just be
no,
solid?
I didn't know. That was just my nature.
Wow. What's your question?
Yeah.
Brian has.
Why do all women? Okay, I'm not gonna say all. Why do many of them want thugs?
Ooh,
I didn't want a thug.
Answer. Why? Tell
I'm
them.
not gonna say a thug.
Okay.
I just want to say like this a little rough around the edges.
Say alpha.
A little alpha. I
That's all.
prefer alpha. That's right, an alpha male.
Okay.
You know, because he would know when to put the foot down. Because sometimes as women, to be honest with you, we need to be putting our place a little. Not saying
A little bit.
rough you up around the edges, but just like you know, when we know we, you know, need to wheel it back in. He knows how to help you to wheel it back in.
You like that?
I like that.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
You like that?
Everybody smoke that thing tonight. Hey, brownie points right there.
I mean, a part of you be like, no, he didn't, but the part you be like,
Oh God! Why? I mean, I like that. You are a little rough around the edges. Lies, you tell. Yeah, thank you. He acting like. Don't act like that. Yeah, Marissa, I'm sorry. What you like him rough around the edges?
I do. I have a strong personality.
Okay.
I could have an attitude.
yeah.
And as God, you know, as God deals with me, as I deal with my own attitude, like I just need a dude that's solid enough to just be like, I'm not dealing with your attitude. Not like I'm gonna brush you off because of it, but like I'm just not built for you to just talk to me any type of way.
Right.
Like, and so.
I got another question.
Oh no.
But that doesn't make it do the thug though, because
I don't think it's a thug.
After you.
It's not a
thug,
thug. I don't think
yeah,
it's
like
a thug.
Kristen said, like, cause I have been with some thugs and they really have,
Roughed you.
roughed me up. And that's not cool.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That don't put your hands on me.
But
Yeah,
that's a fine line y'all really
Exactly.
walk though, because
It is very fine.
you
Go
want
hand in hand.
if you want that
Street
dude,
dude. Whatever.
if he not you want the dude, you want a thug, but you want a god thug.
Yeah.
And
That's how, because thug to me was true, holy, unique.
That was her.
True, holy, unique, and godly. That was my thug. I said, I don't want to have true, holy, unique, and godly. And look at you.
My definition of a thug? I'm gonna be that when it's time to be it.
Right.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
so that's a problem when you just want a god thug. So you want him to be thuggish and godly.
Yes,
That's
true,
a-
holy, unique, and
So
godly.
basically, they want a medium thug.
It's a medium thug. It don't come in sizes.
I'm not saying it's a thug. I'm not saying thug. I'm saying maybe a strong-willed man.
Yeah.
Someone that's strong-willed and maybe to put their foot down when it needs to be.
That's true.
So
2 feet down.
TM.
What is
A
a
strong-willed man.
is a-
STM.
SWV? He said SWV. I cannot. Why are you this way?
A strong-willed man.
Why? Are you a strong-willed man, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm a strong-willed man.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
But
but I'm
you're
not
not a
like
thug.
a thug.
Okay,
like,
but
I
you-
mean, I see it as like you want somebody who like, what basically like, cause I feel like society kind of like twisted like being a man to like toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
So,
I got you.
Not a
Yeah.
thug, but a man.
There you go.
Yeah.
A man. You're confident. You got
Man.
confidence.
Yeah,
So what's
That's what you got.
What's a
Yeah.
man?
A man is not like
no
I
weak
could,
man.
yeah, like I could,
So-
like I
so-
said, my attitude can be my personality. Forget the attitude. My personality could just be strong. And if you're a timid dude,
Yeah, you ain't
Right.
got time for it. Or
I
a yes
just-
man
I'm
is
a-
just
I just-
everything
Yeah,
I
timid.
do.
Yeah.
Or a
You
yes
don't want
man.
nobody
Yeah,
timid. A
that's
timid
perfect.
man.
That's you want a man.
She
that's
think
timid.
church
Oh,
guys.
wait,
She
what you
think
about to say?
church. Oh God. You
I
can't
said,
put
where
every
you
church
find-
man in a category.
She about to say it.
Look at her lip.
I'm about to say,
Look at her lip
That's
is
right,
shaking.
So-
Go ahead.
So you feel like, so what happens is
She's,
you
wait,
get-
let her say what
she
she
about-
want to say.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go
Where are the timid men?
She gonna say the church.
you know, I just don't really find them too much outside of the church, which is why you find like the thugs, like, cause they're in the street. But in the church is like,
Can I?
ooh,
Timid.
Go
Can
ahead.
I, man?
yeah, it's like,
That's the fine line I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you really want a street dude in the church.
But Jesus was a street dude turning them tables over. He's like, don't come to my place. He turned tables over.
Don't do
Jesus.
that.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
you don't want that same dude to be the one that's also going to be abusive, disrespect you.
Right, I'm
say
saying
whatever
there's a
I
fine
want. And he
line.
doesn't.
That's
he
when I'm
doesn't
talking
know how to
about
not
hitting.
Be that person. So to be honest with you, you're really looking at a person that I won't say they all soft. They're really, because they might have been a thug, they probably are trying to navigate because of the perception on them. They're probably trying to navigate how to be different or how to change themselves, which is encouraged a lot. Like, we look at people wrong in the church. If you don't have this certain perception, then just like we look at people out there in the world, like, you know what I'm saying? I look at a thought, or I look at somebody online that's showing themselves, I'm automatically going to perceive them to be somebody that's going to be out there.
Right.
So it's really something that you might have to give a little bit more time with, maybe get to know that person, maybe not. Okay, so I try.
We're gonna say all church guys are like that. They are
They're
just
not.
they are
I'm not
some.
gonna say all of them.
Yeah, no, Ricky's a church boy. Ricky's a
I had to
church
talk to a couple
guy.
dudes and like, yo, man, you gotta step up a little bit as a man, dog. Like, you gotta be a little more aggressive.
But why
you
do
know
you
what I
think
mean?
it's
little
because
more,
we
you
throw
know,
that Jesus is
strong.
love and
Yes, what we
kind
gonna
and
do to
sweet?
church?
But that's when you should be
Women
the
all
perfect
through
for
That's a
man.
great point,
Oh
though.
my
What is the point? That's too
Like,
many women.
there's like, when most of the people that like grow up in church, like especially like dudes and stuff, like a lot of them like may not have their fathers, like,
Right.
or in a sense like their fathers may ignore them, whatever. But like you usually around a lot of women in church. Like you look
Yeah.
at like even like children's church stuff, like there was way more girls than dudes.
Right.
So like at a certain point, you would just ended up around all girls. So like if you didn't have like that strong like those strong men around you to kind of like pour into you and teach you like how to be like a strong-willed man, like you kind of grew up like more. I didn't want to say like
Soft.
yeah, but I'm not trying to say nothing like
No, we not.
like
We need-
insulting,
it's
like
soft.
saying
Yeah,
soft.
it's not
But
insulting.
like, but like you kind of grew up kind of more timid or like
Right,
you know
timid,
you picked up more like women's personality
Right,
or
right.
like
Yes.
women's like things that they say or things
How
that they
they
do,
do
how you
that.
That's
even your
right.
action, like even little things of how you talk and how you use your hands when you talk
Right.
or whatever. Like you could pick up a lot of that just from being around them so much. So like
That's true.
I think that's a part of it too.
That's good. But I want one more thing first. I want to ask. So I feel sometimes as women, we take a lot from men. We deal with a lot of, okay, you know, we're more forgiving, I guess we could say. A lot of times men be like, oh, I'm sorry, I cheated 75 times. And we're just like, it's okay.
I had this
Keep
conversation.
punching me and, you know, in the face over and over again. And how do you feel about that? And I think as women, like, are we wrong to say I'm gonna stick by my man? I guess it's different in a marriage, but I guess in a
Y'all
relationship.
married. I'm not sticking by no.
But I'm just saying, like, where do you draw the line to say, okay, I'm ride or die, but like, look, you
Yeah,
just
ride or
out
die,
of
but
disrespect.
to the point of not being disrespected in that way.
Yeah.
in that nature. You know what I'm saying? Because like even me and Chris with certain things like cool. Now, and I know men too though. Like I know if she cheated, it's a wrap. That's just
Why is
but
that?
I'm talking about. I would hope that would be the same way for her. Because certain things, I'm like, it's a wrap. It just shouldn't be. It is what it is.
Right.
Because if we already allowed it to get to that point, and then to the point where it went to cheating, that means neither one of us was trying to do what we were supposed to do as far as to bring it back, reel it in, do the counseling or whatever it was. So as far as like for me, I tell her all the time, I'm like, yo, if I cheated, as much as it'd be like, yeah, blah blah, I wanted to stop. Like I told, we've had this conversation. I told her, you gotta go.
With him.
And I told her, I think you should leave. Because I mean, there's something in me that's not there at the time, or that might not be in the marriage anymore.
But I think some men might say it's not that I don't love you, it's just I'm a man. Like,
well, I mean, you gotta understand, it's always been a man's world anyway. That's how we've been raised. We've been hearing it our whole life, but I'm learning now as I get older, it's really more a female's world.
hello.
Women haven't seen it from that aspect. Some females haven't shown it. We all came from a woman. We
That's
came
right.
from a womb, so it's like a lot of times I don't think women realize that aspect too. It's like a lot of game men done got it came from a woman. It just might have been a long time ago from the female, but it came from a female. Whether she was cunning, clever, whatever it was, she gave the man the game. The man ran with the game, and so now that's why a lot of dudes it's like easy because a lot of even my mother told me a lot about women, so it's like I already knew exactly what to say, how to say it, and how not to say it, the whole nine. You know, not that it was just game, but it was just like I knew just how to maneuver around, like she was saying earlier, around all different women. I knew what to say, what not to say. So
is cheating a form of disrespect? Because sometimes women make themselves. I think women make themselves feel like it's not.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
but that's because I think too the church, not just the church, but because again society is always told the woman
Right.
that she has to be the one to mend it and stay and make it better and all that.
Right.
When it's still that's not always her case. If I'm messing up, man, sometimes as females, I think you guys just have to step up and be like, yo, that's wrong. Like you guys put your foot down. Like if Crystal didn't do that in a lot of instances. When we were separated, and I mean not to share all certain things, but most people know when we were separated, we would have never came back.
Yeah.
If she didn't put her foot down, I'd have still been out doing what I wanted to do, and like I don't want to be married no more. But she put her foot down and was like, "Yo, this is what it's gonna be. Either you rock with me or you not."
Yeah.
And so I had to make a decision. Like I'm rocking. So if she didn't do that, I'm gonna guarantee you, you would have never saw Noah. Noah would have been here.
That's their son. They have a son there.
Let's
look out. There's Noah that came.
If we didn't get back together, I'd have never had Noah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said a lot of things
But I do disagree with him with the whole cheating thing a little bit, only because, like I told him before, like I don't get it where it's like, you know, a man can't cheat and a woman is willing to forgive, but as soon as a woman, you hold us up to this higher standard.
We're not built that way.
So
Y'all
when
nurturers.
it's like we can't make
We're not nurturers.
Listen.
Like I said, we can't make any mistakes. A man can make as many mistakes as he can make, and it's like we have to forgive the baby. Take me back. I'm sorry.
Right. I'm gonna do better.
As we make a mistake, listen. As soon as we make a mistake, and you may not agree with it, but I'm saying there's situations where as soon as a woman make a mistake. It's like they can never forgive you.
Bring it
up several times. Can't let it go. Can't move on from the situation. But we have to be the ones that have to move on from a situation, despite the things that you've done. But you can't do the same thing for us, and that's where I feel like it's kind of wrong because it's like men hold us to this higher standard. It's like we're human just like you. We make mistakes just like you. We're not perfect, just like you're not perfect. But why do we have to be the ones that forgive you or keep forgiving? And it doesn't have to be cheating. It's just any other situation. We have to be the one to forgiving that. But when we make a mistake in something, it has to be repetitive over our head. Like, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. And it's like, well, dang, I did that like 10 years ago. I'm still talking about that. You know, but it's like, it's still being brought up. But it's like, it's a mistake. I was young. You was young. Like, we grew up. Let's move on. You know, but it's never like that. It takes a long time for a man to really get over forgiveness. It takes a long time for a man to forgive than it does for a woman to forgive.
That's true.
So it's been a man's world. And so we're used to getting things our way.
Exactly.
So if something happens to us,
be like, no sir.
it's detrimental though.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't know how to handle it.
But why are they detrimental to us?
No, because we don't know how to handle it. And I'm gonna go to your point.
Well, plus we haven't had it. We haven't
I'm about
had
to say
to handle
we
it.
haven't had haven't had to handle it, but we haven't been taught.
Exactly.
We haven't been held accountable. We haven't. So it's always been, women have always been looked at like, yo, if you do this, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So society has always been looking at you of however you carry yourself. It's been scrutinized to the biggest to the smallest thing. We haven't had any scrutiny on us other than, oh, what you wearing? Other than what's around your boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there's no accountability from another figure, another male figure that's old enough to be with you and then walk you through different steps of life. You know what I'm saying? Most of you have women that have families that are, you have 1 or 2, 3 people kind of chiming in on how to do this, how to do this, how to do the other. And we haven't had that.
No,
Yeah.
So then now when you put us in a position where we got to deal with ourselves, that's really what that is. We don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we need counseling. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
there a counselor in the
But to
building?
me, it's like
Is there a
also
counselor in the
would
building?
you actually be willing to allow a man to step? Because there are some men that feel like because they've been doing it on themselves and doing it all this long by myself, don't allow an older man or someone to actually step in to actually show them.
That's because by the time that man comes in, it's probably late. In their mindset, it's late. You know what I mean? Like now I'm in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? And I've already been making decisions.
It's a wrap.
It'd have been different if you'd have came alongside of me at an early age, helping me make decisions. Now when you get to a point where you telling me how to make a decision, I've been making my whole life. All right, then that sounds good. And that's why we end up learning hard. You know what I mean? But that's where we also end up hurting people. That's what we end up doing what we do. We damage and we learn later. It's not the right way to do things, but it has been consistent as far as time is concerned of how we've been handling ourselves. So we don't know how to forgive.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that's real. I would just say, even for females that are dealing with a guy though, that I've said this and I really stand by this. I don't feel like, personally to me, a female should be going through a process with a male.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think you should allow a male to process.
I agree.
And then, you know what I mean, if that's the person that you are still willing to be with, then that's when you come on the scene as well. But I think that you got to allow a man to go through. There's certain things men need to go through.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And many times when they're going through it, and sometimes they don't really want you around.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because it's so detrimental, and so they end up damaging you and hurting you through the process because you're the closest thing for them to lash out on.
Yeah.
And they're lashing out on you really because it's something they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
They can't handle what's going on. So to be honest with you, I would tell you, if you're really dealing with a person that you're dealing with one instance after the other, let that dude go.
Come on.
And keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's my catch this, because I feel like sometimes we as women are afraid that if we're not with them during the process, when they come through it, they're not going to want us or remember us or say you was there with me through it all. So sometimes I feel like it's fear that causes us to stay in the process. But I believe that in my catch this, in my scripture, in Philippians 4:8, as a woman or any man, and you keep your thoughts continually fixed on all that is authentic and real, honorable, admirable, beautiful and respectful, pure and holy, merciful and kind, and fasten your thoughts on every glorious work of God, praising him always. I really believe that it's our mentality, our mindset, that we have to always keep on God. And I believe that if we stop thinking so much about what might not happen if I don't do this, or we thinking about, or always thinking about what Susie did or how this person did, but just keep your thoughts on God, I believe that everything that's for you will be given to you, and you will be missing and lacking nothing. So that is our catch this. And I'm just so grateful for my people that came, my men. We're going to have to do another one with the fellas. That was a good conversation. We got more conversation. Listen.
We need more time.
Listen, we do. But we want this S.T.D to spread though. So they got to like, comment, and subscribe. This is for the show. the show, the sister table discussion. We want it to spread. Like, comment, and subscribe. Okay? And for us, we want them to say what? Pretty, poppin',